Welcome back, dear students. In this lesson, we are going to be discussing about Solang Solidity, the contract structure or smart contract or program structure on Solana. How do you write it? How is it structured? And we also learn some other things like Pragma, import, how does it work, what do they mean, and when should you use them. We also, along the way, I'll be comparing it with any differences with vanilla Solidity, which is for EVM, and then Solang Solidity, so that in case you're already developing with Solidity, vanilla Solidity, you can have better idea and maybe choose get clarity on the differences or where they are similar and things like that. So let's get on. Yeah, let's take it one by one. When you talk about the structure, when you come here, you can always click to display full code. So here is an example of the structure of the contract. You can see it. So here now, we are now using the anchor. That's why I had to take you through to, become familiar with it, because that's what we'll be using moving forward as long as we are dealing with Solang Solidity. So here, the way you have the structure is basically you want to declare your contract ERC 20. Let's use underscore SPL token. Then, so basically, this is how we write it. Then you have comment with double slash code here. So that's it. So when you want to comment out, you use the double slash code. If I remove one, you see, so the comment show will not show in, or will not be run by the compiler. So it's just to make your code readable. Now you can see this all the basic something when you talk about the structure of a Solang Solidity code, which is just the same thing. Like I said, we'll be comparing it with what you have here. You can see it. It's just, if I clear all this off, you can see it, that everything is just here. So everything in your code is expected to be within this bracket. So this is your contract, and this the code, whatever you want it to be done, anything your smart contract, your Solana program want to do using Solidity, Solang Solidity, you put it here. So remember, this one is remix, which is for native Solidity, but you see that it's the same Solidity, so it's just the same. So you can see it, that's what we've got here as well. Then we move to the next one, which is, you can see the sample of the structure. So it's import in Solang Solidity for Solana. So what is import? In Solang Solidity for Solana, import directive play a crucial role in bringing items. So it's just a way, as it sounds, that you import one external file into your own program, Solana program, so that, or Solidity contract, so that you can have access to the features and a lot of functions and a lot of other things that you can inherit it from that particular contract that you imported, or an interface. It can just be an interface which give you access to some things like that, and it can be a library. As you can see, Solang import is somewhat similar to JavaScript. For example, you would have an interface, could have an interface or a library in one source file, which several contracts implement in other files. So you can, let's try and see code sample for that. You can see it, so you can always copy and work with some of these code. That's why I took the time to put them there for you. So this, you have the import, and the import can come in different form. It can be maybe just import specific maybe function or some things by the name directly from that file, or you can just import like the whole file or library, for example, and then depending on how you import it will also mean how you will refer to it inside the project. So as you can see from this, if we go in here and then, don't worry about, you might not really understand this, but I just want to show it to you. For example, if I just come here, you put import, you can see it, unrecognized token, yeah, because this is not terminated yet. You can see it now. So this import, there will be error there because this is not a complete import yet. So import, let's do a kind of a partial one. So let's say I'm just using this as an example. Function 1, function 2, you can see it, and import it from the library. I said the library is inside libraries / SPL # token. So you can see it now. So here you don't have the error like before, but it's telling us that this expected case should have from, yeah. So you import this from this. So when you already state this, we need the from, but we can also import without this from. So, and you see that the error is now different this time, said file not found, and actually it tries to look at like a step above here. This file is inside there, so that's the first like dot. Then the second dot, it look inside this file, and then it couldn't see anything like libraries, which are not here. So for us to fix this, we need to create it. But for now, let me also try and do the second import, which can just import everything like so. You can see it. So we only have error of file not found. You see that I didn't have to use from, and it's still working. So this one is like the whole everything. And when you want to reference this, for example, inside code here, you have to reference it based on the code inside there. Like let's say I know what I'm importing. This is the default library for the token, which we'll still learn about when we are developing the token. Here now you can just, it's equivalent to you having something like Open Zeppelin in the native Solidity. Here we can just try to do SPL dot function name. You understand? So that's how you call it, because you are importing this directly instead of just referencing this function. You can reference this fn directly because you already have it imported directly. But if not, then this can now be spl.fn1, because this is what you imported. So you need to first locate this, and then you find this. Understand? So let's clear this. For us to be able to fix any, before we move to the last part of that, let's just create that particular missing libraries, or you can call it library. So you see we have library, and then we need this spl.so file. So come into library, new file, and there we have it, and we save. We come back here. Actually, what we have is underscore. So this just, let's hold on one, and let's see this. So I eventually copied the actual library, SPL token library, and here we have it. You can see the errors are gone. Either I import it like this, there is no error. You can see you can locate the library folder, and then whatever is in here, we can start making use of it in part of our code inside our actual contract. So your import will usually like come first, then you import it in and start making use of it. So which we can decide to comment this out, because we usually use this as we go on. You will see it in use. So that's why I'm trying to make sure the examples as well are in line with the project we are eventually going to put together. So what that does is to ensure as you learn all these syntax and basic things, you will actually be seeing it in real world Solana program code, and that makes your learning to sink in and get you prepared better for your own or other projects you would like to do. So I think that's okay. We still have one left, which is the Pragma, and is like a directive for the compiler. It's just there usually in the native Solidity or vanilla Solidity for AVM to specify that, okay, for you to compile this, use this compiler version, so that, you know, as a lot of things from one version to the another, there could be some changes. For example, before I do this course, I was initially playing around with Solang Solidity version 0.3.1, but then there are some breaking changes. Now by the time I'm doing this video, it is 0.3.2. So maybe by the time you'll be watching, it will be 0.3.5 or 0.1 or whatever. So all those, as those changes come, at times there could be breaking changes and things, which means some contracts you have written before for 0.3.1 Solang, if you just take it as it is and try to run it with compiler of 0.03.2, then it may break. So that's why the native or vanilla Solidity used to like require this Pragma to state the actual version you want to use. And if you look at this, if you come here, for example, it's this, as you can see, it should be greater or equal to 0.8.2 and like less than 0.9.8. You see this now. So that's why the compiler is, you know, able to pick things. If for here now I decide to change it, you see that it's now trying to use it to compile. If it's able to, if there's nothing broken or something. So whatever this compiler is, that's what you'll be able to use here. For example, let's change this back. Let me change this to like 7.0. Do you see it? that immediately I change this, I'm saying it should stick between 7.0 and 8.0, 0.80. You see that it sought for the most stable version before 0.8, and that was 0.7, and instantly it changes. If I change this to like 4 and then this to like 7 as well, you see 6, and it's telling me some things has broken because it's not working in that version. You understand now? So that's what that Pragma actually does. But I think Solidity, native vanilla Solidity, is the major programming language that specifies the compiler inside. Maybe if there's any, let me know. So the same thing happened inside the this Solang Solidity. It doesn't even use it at all. So if you place it here, if we copy this and place it, you see that it makes no difference because this Solang Solidity has been built to ignore this statement. It doesn't need it to work with the compiler that will be used for whatever you have. So it's just based on the default compiler you have installed that will run. So that's just the difference. So this doesn't have effect on Solang Solidity. Even if you have it in your smart contract, the vanilla, it will ignore it on Solang Solidity. So I think that's just the major thing in here. You can see it, this ignored in Solang. So those are the major things to learn under contract, structure, import, and Pragma. Always remember, if you get stuck, I'm there to give you support with a team, including our AI. So get into the Discord, to the community, and ask for support. So that's it. And moving forward, we'll now be diving in more into the syntax, how you can now continue to work on this contract from here. Those codes you can put here from here. So then, before we move to actually working with the ERC20 SPL token fully itself, so we need to understand all those things. So I will see you in the next lesson. Keep the programming spirit and alive. I remain Solomon. Bye.